projects what I need to see upon you, and I do believe that everything is meant to be in some form or another, but we don't know enough about this yet. I said we don't know, yeah, we don't know enough, yet, but don't you forget we learn all we need and we earn everything that we have, and we burn all our bridges, but certainly not taking one back, so I don't know where we're headed, but if it's anywhere far from here, darling, I can't wait to finish what it business for the world. Well, I've been riding with my head down low, but I've been sitting with my feet up, living la vida loca. Nice to meet ya, mamacita. Hola, venga chica, muy bonita, no más. I could read ya like a G poster. We shall leave now, me, I need to focus. I better stop talking like that. She a big girl, dog, and I ain't calling her fat. She 20 and she class A like she bought them packs. She says, what you doing, Maze? You was smarter than rap. I said, I don't know, babe, I haven't thought of it yet. I got lots of plans with no time to spend. There's no common sense in my mind to sin. I'm in a lot of shit and I'm not proud of it, but in my defense, I've been honest with you. And that's all you could really ask for. If your glass half full and my glass half poured, ain't a rewind button, living life and fast forward. Oh Lord. Every time I lay my eyes on you, I project what I need to see upon you, and I do believe that everything is meant to be in some form or another, but we don't know.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream. Happy Monday, January 27th. We got some stuff to talk about here. Market is selling off. First off, make sure you read that disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. I'm just an idiot on YouTube. Nothing I say or do here is a recommendation or suggestion to do anything. Trading's risky. Almost all traders lose money. You will probably lose all or more of the money that you intend to trade with if you decide to trade for yourself. Make sure you also read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is in funded accounts. Now, market is on an absolute tear to the downside. We got a bloodbath. Seems like a lot of this is driven by China's AI model. We are opening up right here at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Interested to see what we get right here, right now. A lot of this looks like it's driven by China's AI model, DeepSeek, challenging big U.S. tech stocks. Did not like that at the open. You can see the big gap and then a massive sell-off to the downside. We've really started to find some buyers here, and we've pulled quite a bit off of this low. Yeah, 412-ish points off this low here in the MNQ contract. I'm going to be watching MNQ and potentially ES today. Just want to make sure that we are not getting to the 5% down near that rule for top step. No trading within 2% of the CME price limit. We can talk about that in a little bit, but let's just watch this market open up. Yeah, buyers in here right off the open, continuing to push higher off of this low that we put in here in MNQ down near 765. So I'm not going to jump in quick here, right? I think there's an enormous amount of volatility. There's obviously a ton of potential to the upside and downside today. We got a lot of movement, right? This is the 15-minute chart. This looks like the 1-minute chart. You know, this is pretty heavy. So I'm not going to get involved right off the open. I think there's plenty of scalp plays. Like, look at this candle printing, man. This is gnarly. Insane, man. Insane. Blasting to the upside, blasting towards VWAP. Again, these are going to be off a little bit comparing against NQ, I'm sure, on a day like today where there's just so much movement. Yeah, see here, if I jump to the NQ contract here on TopstepX, VWAP is considerably lower, right at 236, 237, MNQ, it's going to be off, right? So 255 here in MNQ, just because there's so much buying and selling going on, so much volume being traded. Yeah, it looks like a news candle. I agree, man. Again, it's the 15-minute chart. This looks like I'm here on the 1 minute. I'm gonna stay patient on this, guys. You know, I got a lot of room and opportunity to get involved here, but this is volatile. There's a lot of fast movement going on. I would like to have this at least start to settle off the open. Maybe get through that 10 a.m. orange folder news. We got, which I don't really think is going to have, I don't know how much impact it can possibly have on a day like today, but just get past some of this open, just whatever is going to happen, all the transactions that are going to take place right into NY open here, and then look to try to capitalize on a larger move or just a continuation of whatever move starts to develop into the rest of the day, as I've been doing over the last couple weeks with you guys, trading with a little bit wider stop loss, a little bit wider take profit. Again, going to watch micro ES today as well. I'm going to watch the S&P just because we have more room to trade to the downside if we want to trade to the downside on ES before we get close to that 5% marker, 5% down on the day. Taking a look at Dow as well. Man. Going to be interesting, though. Going to be interesting. Going to be very interesting. So if we zoom out here, let's do some higher time frame analysis while this is playing out, right? I've been talking about this for a bit, right? Similar, higher time frame, top-down analysis that I do every day. We broke this trend to the downside a little bit here. This is much higher time frame stuff, right? We were pulling this nice back and forth move to the downside, right? Putting in lower lows, putting in lower highs, putting in lower lows. And then we found some buyers right down here, kind of where we came to test today. Formed this nice uptrend, right? What I would consider an uptrend on, mid to higher time frame, right? Looking at the 1 hour chart. That was looking pretty solid, cracking above this high here, coming to challenge this high here on higher time frames. And we consolidated a little bit, and then we know what happened today. We know what happened today, all the way through Asia and London. Massive bloodbath for U.S. tech stocks. So we approached here. Let's go to the daily and look at this together. We approached a line in the sand here, and that would be these lows right here, and even these lows back over here. And buyers have since stepped in. Right, they're kind of curbing some of this selling hysteria, at least for right here, right now. So I'm interested to see what happens. Do we pull all the way back up, go to close this gap? Do they step back in and we start to continue the downside? We're going to get more market participants accepting lower prices, and this thing is just going to continue to sell off. I don't know, right? I don't think anybody today that tells you they know exactly what's going on is going to have a lot of truth behind that. We have some of the answers, right? Fundamentally, what's going on? China releasing AI model, posing as some serious competition. We got U.S. tech stocks that have just been massively hit to the downside. I wanted to look at the Mag 7 once we opened up. Yeah, NVIDIA down 11.25%, 11.33%. That's heavy. Pretty much all of the Mag 7 except for Apple are down today. Amazon down 3%, Google 3.25%, Meta 3%, Microsoft 4%, Tesla 2.25%, 2.33%, but NVIDIA down, obviously leading the way there, 11%. I saw the headline like it was 12% down in pre-market. Yeah, 11.5% now. That's absolutely insane, absolutely insane. So it's pulled back up a bit, but insane gap to the downside. So of course that's affecting the Nasdaq, right? So we will we'll have to hang out and see. Taking a look on Bookmap, my favorite order flow tool. Liquidity upside, right at this nice round number here, 21,300. Would be surprised if we don't go fill those 100 orders. But outside of that, I'm running this thing super zoomed out. Super zoomed out. Try to get a good look above and below price, what we have sitting on the book. We had some serious bids in. Yeah, it's quite a far way away from price. 20,000, 975 and 950, way down. We had some orders to buy. Up above price, 21,300, and then the looks like the 340 to 350 area. We got a few on the book there, but nothing really that I'm going to look to work with just yet. Nice, but appreciate you guys hopping on. Wild Monday, big sell-off Monday. Again, this may continue to set up for some serious opportunities. So I'm focused up, ready to trade. The way that I like to handle this is not to jump right in, right at the open, right? I think you had plenty of opportunity if you were trading overnight, maybe into pre-market, to be looking to sell into this momentum, right? Obviously, huge impact to the downside. Simple trade is to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take the hard sell. Very difficult to sell in the hole when we've already moved down this much. But this is obviously, some big impact to the markets. Maybe you were reading the headline and you say, I think this is going to continue. At the open, after a move like this is often what we see, right? Big volatility. Here's our NYSE open. Let's get the exact numbers out. This way we don't have to guess. Here on MNQ. That first 5-minute candle is a 162.5 point candle here on MNQ. Right now we're trading in a 700 tick range, 175 points here on MNQ. This is very volatile, ton of movement. To get involved right off the open, you absolutely can. Maybe you say buyers are stepping in, I'm jumping in right here, and you already cleaned up on a beautiful trade to the upside. You picked up 60, 70 points very quickly. Right back to VWAP. That's going to be your move. Again, for me, I'm going to go small size, large stop, large target. Try to capture a larger move. Try to stay out of this insane volatility. Too much back and forth can be dicey. So I'm going to wait to see. I don't have a setup that's going to come right off the bat. I really want to see if buyers are going to run this thing back up higher. It would be interesting to see a lot of this erased. Really stepped in right after I was getting up this morning, looking at this chart, and we are up to VWAP, holding above for the time being. Again, looking at NQ just to get a little bit of difference in VWAP here on the 5-minute, 15-minute. Man, pushing. Looking at ES real quick. Yeah, very similar structure. Very similar structure. Yeah, interested to see. Do we get above VWAP and hold? And not really pull back at all down towards this 21,000 level in NQ and MNQ, and just start to run back up to the upside? Do we start to turn and burn and sell off? Again, I'm going to stay flexible on this one. Obviously, the move this morning was to the downside. Bloodbath sell-off. At the open, we're pushing up after finding some support in the overnight session. In pre-market here, right after that, 5:30 a.m. time frame, 6 o'clock, putting that low in, and are cracking back above VWAP. So I'm interested to see, but I'm not going to be the first in. Don't want to be the first buyer or seller, or the second or third for that matter. I want to watch intently. We've got a lot of volume off the open, obviously. Interested to see what happens from this point. If we start to turn and burn to sell off to the downside, I may look for it in ES just because we're going to run into that 5% rule on NQ for Top Step. here on TopstepX in a funded account. I don't know how quick I'm going to be a buyer on this one, though. I'll be honest with you. Oh, what's up, guys? Lone Wolf, Jose, what's happening? What's happening? One of those days, Apple and Microsoft pushing high, NVIDIA and AMD going down. Yeah. It's a gnarly move to the downside with that release of that AI model. But again, let's see. Does the market open up and say, you know what, we want to step in and buy this dip on a much higher time frame? I don't know. I would not have a buying bias in this market. Yeah, sure, that's fair. For me, again, I try to stay as flexible as I can. Usually by the time the market's opening up, I've formed an initial bias, but then I'm waiting for the session to start to trade and say what's happening during NYSE session, what's happening from that 9:30 open. So far, buyers stepping in right here, defending this low. Now, an instance where this thing, buyers did not step in at all, and we started to continue down past these lows, that could have looked like an even worse indication, getting down past this low here or these guys here. But we defended so far. We are approaching another level area of high volume, this zone that I have marked on my chart. But VWAP is this first line in the sand that I'm paying attention to. And we are holding above it so far. But I'm gonna stay patient. Again, I think if you wanted to be a seller in this market, if you wanted to jump in and you didn't feel you were chasing this move, you were seeing this as a higher time frame pullback, you're gonna get opportunity here. This is just super, super volatile. So the only move that I see off the open aggressively would have been buying into this momentum. Extremely counter to everything that happened up until, again, right around this 5:30, 5:45 mark. We started to find buyers, then push up here on the lower time frames. And I'm not looking to jump in as a buyer right off the open, especially on a day like today. But I'm not looking to jump in as a buyer or a seller right off the open. I'm going to watch to see some of this unfold. Get past any big spikes or increases in volatility that we might see, maybe within the first 30 minutes to an hour of trading. Look to find a way to structure a trade. But right now, I don't have one. I'm not looking to be a seller right off the bat at a certain spot. I'm not looking to be a buyer. I want to see what we are going to do here. Are we going to just start to hold above VWAP, maybe even retest and continue to the upside? Buyers really not going to let this thing fall down. This was a knee-jerk reaction, whatever the reasons are. Or are we going to turn and burn at a certain point and continue this move to the downside? Does the bottom start to fall out? We start to erase and give up this movement. That would be really really interesting to the downside. So my initial thesis here is I'm going to wait and see. I don't have a good way to structure risk to the upside or downside. I think there's a ton of volatility to take advantage of, but there's also a lot of risk involved, jumping in real quick. So, staying patient off the open after a wild overnight session like this, but ready to trade, ready to put risk on. So, yeah, off the bat, a buy. A buy could be the play. You say, you know what? I'm going to go counter this entire move. Stop loss down around session open. We are holding higher. We're just going to push higher. We're going to blast right back off. I'm not taking that play. Not taking that play. It's extremely counter to this move. And although we are holding above VWAP after a nice big push up off the open, I'm going to stay patient. I think it would be a pretty wide risk structure, and you'd really be anticipating this move to be erased. You'd be looking for a huge move back up in the gap to fill, and for the U.S. to say, no way, China, which is possible. It's possible. But it's not going to be my thesis, at least yet. I'd wait for more structure and then a continuation. The risk is you miss this movement to the upside if it was going to come, but it's so counter on a day like today. So I'm just going to hang tight for now. Price is taking resistance from the London Open. Yep. We watch news from any tech company. Yep. What's up, guys? What's up? Yeah. Again, it's a tough call, right? I'm not gonna get too zoomed in. This is bullish off the open. Well, so I'm not gonna get too zoomed in, but let's zoom in. MNQ here, right? This is bullish off the open. Here's our 9:30 a.m. open. We are cracking aggressively to the upside. We're holding above VWAP, at least here in MNQ. Again, I'm cautious of where my volume tools are today after such large movement and volume traded. They're going to differ from, between the micro and the mini contract. So far this is holding above, right? Even on the 5-minute. Zoom out, reset that. Holding above VWAP for at least right here, right now. Again, we're going to run into some more major levels up here, but traded out the 300s, holding above. This is looking like buyers, at least for right here, right now, want to drive this thing higher. This zone that I have in the middle here, near the 350s, is just coming off of this middle ground here, this area that's been traded. Sliced through a bunch of times, so not a super clean zone, but coming off of this low, looking left after this big slice through. But again, on a day like today, man, a lot of these zones are just not respected. Price is going to move too fast, too quickly, and it's really not going to care where the discretionary levels are. But I'm interested to see what happens around this level. Right, we are already holding above VWAP. Interesting line in the sand that we're holding above. Big crack at the open. Do we find some resistance? Do we start to form some structure? That's what I'm waiting on, guys. More market structure, right? More market structure. A way maybe to structure risk. I'm going to stay flexible. I'm not going to say buys only, sells only, right? I don't know how this is going to develop into NYSE session. So I'm going to stay flexible until I get the structure that I need. Again, these days can be really, really good. These days in general can be really, really good for a lot of traders, and they can be really bad. This can be FOMO. This can be tough to look at and say, I wasn't involved. Look at this opportunity. Look at this opportunity. Before you know it, you're jumping into and out of trades that you have no reason being in. You don't have your entry set up. You don't have anything there to structure risk. You're just looking at movement and saying, I don't want to miss out. And that can be dangerous. And again, just volatility in general. Today is a day to size down, right? You probably do not need the same size that you were trading on your last trading session today. Right now is 2%. So not trades. No, so this is safe. This is safe here, right? So we're talking about we were talking about this morning. If you trade with TopStep, there's a CME price limit rule. So here's the basics of it as far as I understand it right here, right now. Within 2% of the CME price limit, which is 7%, there's no trading. So that means within 2% of the 7% number is 5%, right? So if we get past 5% down on the session, which is down near where this red line is on my chart, just roughly, that means no trading in XFAs. I believe it's XFAs and maybe live accounts. I don't think it's combines because I reread the rule a bunch of times this morning. But I would just be cautious in general down there. I probably I won't be trading NQ if we approach that line. You can look at it a number of different ways. You can look at it in like a TradingView watch list. That's how I pay attention to it. I think, yeah. There we go. You can look at it on quotes as well. Let me see if I can show this. No, it's going to be blocked out by my banner and everything. There's a quote section down below. You could actually add it in, I think, over here as well, that shows percent change. So you want to just be cautious and not get involved if NQ has moved or US indice has moved close to 5% on the day. So my game plan is to swap over to ES, so micro ES. Why I have my chart marked up. There's the rough 5% down on the day, way down there, right? So we got more room. Not common, right? Not common to get close to a price limit, but we had movement today, so worth talking about. Jose watching the video. Combine's not in the rule. Cool. Yeah, again, man, I'm gonna look at big structure, Jose. I see you looking at individual stuff there. It could be very, very helpful. I'm gonna look at big structure, right? I'm really gonna try to continue this zoomed out view and take a look at where we want to go from here. Again, how I'm reading this: extremely bearish overnight, big sell-off. We have a pretty clear reason, as there usually is, but we have a pretty clear understanding as to what happened and why. And the market obviously reacted to that negatively. So far, we have buyers stepping in pre-market session, and then we have big buyers stepping in here at the open. A lot of volume traded to the upside, holding above VWAP, pushing higher, at least here right now in NASDAQ. So very counter to this overnight session move. I'm interested to see where we go from here. I do think the first thesis is, at least for me, we just blast off from here, right? Buyers are going to hold this thing. We're going to look at this. We're going to look back at this session and say, yep, look, buyers stepped in harshly. They couldn't even pull back on this bad boy. We blasted right to VWAP, held above, and then we push higher. Am I looking to be a buyer right here, right now? No. I don't think we have a great way to structure risk. I think there is potential for a pullback, even if we are going to continue higher on the day. But this thing might blast off from here. The only way that I could see structuring risk is way below session lows with a really wide stop loss on a day like today. My thesis number 2 is that sellers step back in at a certain point. This is the buy the dip group, maybe really, really long term. Buying, stepping in. These are cheap prices. I could absolutely see that, and that sellers at least intraday are going to come back into this thing and shake things up. So I could see the turn from here as well. For right now, I'm watching above VWAP. We come back up to this level. We're trading close to the 350s here. That's a line in the sand for me. I'm watching, off of these lows, off of a lot of this area of consolidation, and we start to approach, that gap. This is going to look more and more bullish, at least for this session. So I'm going to watch from the 15-minute, pretty dang zoomed out today, and see where we go from here. Keeping an eye on ES as well. Similar, very similar structure. Pushing back up to the upside. Just for fun, our good friend Dow, pretty similar as well. But yeah, whatever you do today, guys, be cautious, right? I would be cautious. Structure your risk, whatever that means for you. Accept whatever you put on, and measure out where your stop loss is going to go and what that means for your position size. Yes, was talking quite a bit about that. Yeah. DeepSeek AI launched, and that seemed like the initial move to the downside, right? Yep. So again, market obviously didn't like that for tech stocks, market participants. I saw some images shared. China stocks were very green. In stark contrast to all of the U.S. tech stocks being to the downside today. So we'll see. Again, for me, it could be helpful just to understand, like, hey, obviously there's a massive driver behind this, which is somewhat obvious. I go right to the news site just to take a quick look at what that is. But once it comes time to trade, I'm looking at price. I'm really looking at market structure and price. What potential do I see happening from here based on historical price action, based on patterns like this that I've seen before? That's where I keep it. But yeah. Holding above VWAP, man. Buyer's not backing off yet. But if you're on here with me, guys, feel free. Subscribe, hit the like button. Smash the like button. I'm going to type it for you. Help me out. Help your fellow trader out. Help yourself out. You don't have to do anything. Free means free. But I'd be more than happy to have you here with me every morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Trading live from my trading platform here and in the free community. If you're not in the free Discord, hop in the free Discord, man. 1,400 active members and a whole lot more fun stuff like this. So let's see. Trading 325. We start to see some resistance. We start to see some sellers here. Bookmap. 350. Orders up at 350. Yeah, low time frame scalping to the upside is paying right now, right? But even that's just a slow grind. Really not giving you an opportunity to jump in, right? If we jump all the way down to the 2-minute chart, zoom out, so VWAP resets itself. Not accidentally mark it in. Not a lot of opportunity to jump in as far as nice pullbacks, but maybe you say, the tops of these are nice bull flags. I'm just going stop loss right below, and I'm picking up 200 ticks to the upside on some of these little tiny moves. It's crazy. But grinding higher on the low time frames after a big pop at the open. That's what we're looking at here. Coming up on medium impact news at 10 a.m. Got about 45 seconds, 30 seconds to medium impact news. New home sales, I believe. Let's double check. Yeah, new home sales coming up at 10. So we might see some volatility here. Let's jump back out to like a 5-minute. This way we're not too choked up on the market. We'll take a look and see. Again, guys, about 15 seconds. New home sales. It is marked as a medium impact event. Could see some volatility there. Markets are already very, 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 very volatile today, so maybe it's a little bit more muted. But let's take a look. Here we go. Got a little bit of wiggling going on right here off the open of this 5-minute candle. Trading 325. Have to watch and see, man. It's interesting. I'm going to look to get a trade on for sure today. I think there's just so much opportunity. For me, it's really going to come down to what this trend looks like for our New York session here, and where the heck I could structure risk and hold on for a larger move. That's what I'd like to get into. Find my way in, fairly low risk, wide stop loss, where if I'm wrong, I'm dead wrong, and we go completely the other way, because I think there's potential for obviously for continuation of these larger movements, which if you are attempting to diamond hands it, find your way into a trade and hang on to the thing, capture a larger move, which is what I am challenging myself to do these days. It's good. It's good. So I'll have to watch to see what happens here. I appreciate you guys. Grind is Yeah. The slow grind sometimes to the upside with just not a lot of clean breaks and retests or pullbacks, and then nice pops to the upside or downside could be a little bit difficult. But I appreciate you guys, man. It's very kind of you. Like I say, I don't claim to be the best trader. I don't claim to know it all, man. I'm just here yapping about futures, showing you how and what and why I do what I do. And if that's helpful, I'm happy about it. But awesome community we got built, man. So it's great. Do we start to turn again? I don't think buyers want to give this up yet, man. This we're hanging on to this. I think if we were gonna pull back higher, if we were gonna push higher, I think a pullback to the downside to just like sweep lows, like a really aggressive move, and then a pop back up. That could be like the first setup for me if I was gonna look long. Again, like let's just 30 minutes in, so let's kind of map out some of what I'm looking at, right? Again, if you're new here, I trade discretionary, price action, and market structure using volume tools and a little bit of order flow. Very, very simple stuff. If this continues and we really look like we're going to set up for a long, I am left in the dust if we just push up from here. I'm not going to buy right here, right now, with no pullback and a stop loss down here or like farther down. It's not a setup for me. The market's just moving and there is no entry model for me. There's no way to structure risk, right? If we form this very aggressive bullish, price action off the open, despite this gnarly bloodbath this morning, and it looks like buyers want to take this thing higher, we don't want to continue lower, and we see something like a pullback, even if it's aggressive, down into this area, all the way down here, all the way down here. Am I looking to buy? No, absolutely not. If we pull all the way back up and head towards highs, I may consider buying on the way back up. I think that would be indication that sellers have tried and failed another time, really aggressively, anywhere down here. Buyers have since again stepped in, and this thing's going to push higher. So we see something very aggressive to the downside and then a push back up towards highs, past highs. I'm going to look long. That would be kind of potential number one. Or not potential number one, just description of potential. We don't do that. We continue lower. Sellers step in, try it, buyers fail, and then we continue lower, or we form any type of structure like this to the downside. I'm looking short. Again, this is all rough, right? We sell off really, really aggressively. Buyers can't hold it and try, and we get formation to the downside. I'm looking to sell maybe another break of structure to the downside with a stop loss above a level of structure that allows me to structure risk and to continue a move to the downside, to continue this big bloodbath sell-off. I might look to do this on ES, again, because we have this line in the sand down here, which is near the 5% down, percent change on the day, and that's a rule with TopStep. So that's kind of my ideas here. Zoomed out, 15-minute, waiting for more structure, where I don't see myself getting a trade, at least immediately. If we knife to the upside or downside, right? Because the only way you're in that move is if you're in right now at the start of the knife, and I'm not. So either one of those, I'm hanging tight. Option 3, we don't really do anything. We just kind of chop like this. I'm not getting involved. I want to see some impulsive movement. I'm not going to take this from this level to say, hey, we held above VWAP. I think we're going to crack back lower. Or, even more of the case, if gun to my head, what I would look to do, we're holding above VWAP. Sellers can't bring this thing back down. Long on this move being erased and, and a stop loss down below. So, waiting patient for structure, right? Aggressive selling and buyers taking it back up, really displaying, hey, we're going to hold this thing higher. I'm looking long. Aggressive selling, buyers not able to take it back higher. Price displaying that, right? Market structure and price action displaying that description of what's going on behind the scenes, which who the hell ever knows. And I'm looking short, if we can't hold that. So that's my game plan. Again, I think there's still a lot of movement to be had today. I think that's a really aggressive pop off the open. Let's see. Can we hang on to this, or are we going to come right back down in a race? If we come right back down and start to erase it, what happens when we come back down? Do we start to fall through this level? Interested in sells. We pull back down anywhere within here and start to pop up. I'm interested in long. From right here at this level, retesting VWAP, you have a play to the long side, but just still, again, not enough time put in this open yet for me. So that's my thoughts. Looking like what Jose says, looking like it wants to go down again. If it goes and breaks 21,240, Jose's getting short. He's got 21,270 marked as support. Cool, man. Cool. Appreciate you sharing. Here we come down and break 240. Yeah, I could see that. We start to give VWAP back up again. Continuation lower, sure, I could see that. Right now, it does not look like we want to do it. Just going to look at NQ again. Not that I'm going to be pulling the trigger on minis today in this account. Just to see where VWAP is again, because there's such a difference. Even if I look at it on TradingView, close to the same. 244. This is 245 showing VWAP. And micro NASDAQ is going to be off, showing at 260. So, yeah, we're holding above VWAP here. Holding above VWAP on the 5-minute. Again, thesis could be we crack this high. Buyers are taking it higher. Stop loss somewhere down below here. This is a big trade on the 5-minute chart, right? Very volatile today. So, and you say, hey, I think this thing's going to run. Buyers are not giving this up. Or forget about buyers and sellers. Price is not continuing lower. Price is holding above VWAP. We're cracking back above after putting a low in. I want to take this long. Again, for me, look at how quickly this is moving. This is like rapid movement, man. So again, wait and see. Ideal structure, ideal risk structure, and an actual way into the market for me would be any kind of aggressive pullback, and then buyers taking it higher. Nothing up here I'm looking at right now. Or conversely, we start to give this level up, push lower here, continue down, get down around session lows. I'm looking short at that point. And again, I'm going to look short quicker than I'm going to look long on this. Look for a way to structure risk to the downside. But I'd be pretty interested quickly if we started to completely erase this pop at the open and head back lower. I'd be tempted to try it short to see if I am wrong. If we don't continue lower and I am too quick on this first move and I'm just looking short down here somewhere, and I'm wrong the first time around, and then we pop all the way back up, I'd probably look long on this. I would risk getting, taking that first stop out for a second trade. But interesting, man. Interesting from NQ. Yeah, we'll hang tight. I think you're going to see a lot of blown accounts and a lot of really, really big P&Ls when you log into social media. I already saw quite a bit of it. Some guys showing they lost a dozen prop accounts across different prop firms because they had limit orders set, or didn't have a stop in or whatever it is. And I saw some pretty big numbers overnight to the downside as well. Right? A lot of opportunity, a lot of risk, a lot of reward, a lot of risk. Right? Jose says very fast, 14 points candle in the 1 minute. Yeah, it's gnarly, man. Volatile. We're moving fast. What can help on a day like today? Measure out that volatility, right? Consider using while we're watching the market, using your measurement tool and getting a feel for how volatile this is, right? What's the point size here on the 15-minute chart? You know, how many ticks are we moving if we drop down to the 3-minute relative to what we're doing, you know, on Friday or on, you know, whatever. Maybe you use ATR. Maybe you like to pay attention to average true range. And that gives you an indication based on your trading time frame of how volatile the market is. But you should have an understanding, because when you look at it, it's hard to tell what price, you know, what time frame we're on if you don't have a price and time axis, right? This could be the 1 minute, this could be the 4 hour. We don't really know. Maybe VWAP is going to give it away, but you have to measure for volatility. You have to have a way of understanding it, you know. And if you're trading the 1 minute chart and you notice, yeah, you know, I see 5-point candles, 10-point candles, then all of a sudden you log on and you take a look and we're printing, you know, 30, 40, 50-point candles. Maybe you say, okay, I'm not going to be able to trade with 5 minis or 5 micros today. I've got to drop that size down. I can still trade the same, quote unquote, the same, but I've got a position size according to this increase in volatility. Where my stop loss has to go, where my take profit has to go, means my contract size has to be considerably less. That's typically what happens on a high volatility day. If you run a fixed contract and fixed stop loss size, you're probably going to get smoked, right? You know, you're much tighter on a day like today than you would be in normal volatility. So, you know, that doesn't mean that you can't trade or you shouldn't trade, in my humble opinion, in certain, you know, instances like this. But there's a reason that, you know, most are not going to run a fixed stop loss and contract size. It's because your account, like, how are you accounting for any volatility? You're not. And the market changes day to day aggressively when it comes to volatility. So to me, my opinion, is it makes a little bit more sense to structure it based on what's happening right here, right now, right? So again, just to clarify that even further, maybe for some people that haven't been, maybe you trade the 15-minute chart and you have a setup forming right now, right? And you say after 2 bullish bars and then a red bar, I go short. Okay, like random. Wherever your stop loss has to go today may be completely different from a point perspective because this price action is so much larger. And maybe today it's 66.5 points. And on Friday, this is much smaller and it's 18 points or 15 points. You understand? Looking exactly the same setup, same way that you're going to structure risk based on price action market structure. How do you account for that difference? You position size down, right? Maybe instead of 5 contracts, it's 2 contracts. You know, so you do the math, right? Do the math. What contract are you trading? What's the tick value? You do some math for yourself. So that's position sizing and adjusting for volatility. Icebergs. Let's take a look. Looking at Bookmap, yeah, we're tapping into 300, but I don't see like a ton of orders. Here, let's look at Bookmap together. This is Bookmap, level 2 data. This is the order flow tool that I run on the side of on my other monitor. Just make sure you guys can see this. Yeah, I don't. Sorry, I'm just double checking. We can see this. Yeah, this looks good. Yeah, only thing I'm looking at on Bookmap, again, for me, the way that I use this very, very simply is to look at big orders on the bid and the ask. Big orders above price or below price relative to whatever is trading that day. So we had some. I'm going to try not to crash this thing. If I zoom out and display too much data too quickly, for some reason lately it's been struggling. It might do it to me. Don't die, Bookmap. If I zoom way, way out, I'm going to do it slowly so I don't break it. Oh, I almost broke it. No, we don't have much that far down below price. Back in. So way up here at 21,350, right? Almost 100 points above price. we've got a couple orders on the book. As I zoom in, we get some stuff that appears above and below price. This right above and below it that's tracking it is what most call just this algorithmic liquidity providers. Try not to pay too much attention to the stuff that's right above and below price until we start to approach real peaks on the heat map. Bunch of orders that have been on the book, at least for me. That's how I pay attention to this in this stupidly simple way. There's 1,000 questions and different ways that you could go about, understanding Bookmap and creating a thesis. The way that I use it is really, really simply look for big stacks of orders on the DOM, above and below price, and maybe pay attention to that level, right? I'm a horizontal area of interest guy on my chart. I might mark that off if I don't have it already. Do you need Bookmap to make money trading? Probably not. It's just like any other tool. It can be helpful or harmful based on how you use it. But it is new information. It's different information than like what an indicator on TradingView is going to provide. Yeah, we got a lot of trading going on at the 50s. It's level 2 data, giving you a current order book of orders that are coming on the book above and below price. And then this is showing you volume traded. You have traditional volume down here. This is your actual price line, your best bid and ask. That's how it's displayed on my chart. Volume bubbles, you can display this with candles and a whole bunch of other stuff. But the main, again, the dumb way guy that I look at this is where's a big stack of orders in the book above and below price? What's happening when we get there? Are we eating those orders up? Are they acting like resistance or support? And maybe it's another level I want to pay attention to. Big round numbers have it today. 300, 200, we got quite a bit just jumping on and off the book. This 35 is going to be interested to see if we crack back down through that and then continue. We do have some orders down below. I think we got potential if we don't find support here. We got potential for some volatility to the downside quickly. So come back to the candlestick chart and take a look. Yeah, this looks like we could sell. Sell straight back down to the 200, and then we get back below that as we are right now. Yeah, big volume to the downside. What happens is we start to come lower. Short from 306. Nice. Nice. Look at that. Good conviction. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, again, I'm going to wait for a little bit more to develop on this, guys. We're coming up on the initial balance. First hour of trading. Happy to have waited at least this long. Get my IB high and low marked off. But yeah, I'm going to be late to this party. I'm going to be late to this party to hopefully be on the right side of the move, or maybe have a little bit clearer indication of getting on the right side of whatever move is going to develop, and hold for a larger play. But there's setups in between here, right? There's just plenty of movement. This is volatile and quick moving, really aggressive. So I do think a little bit higher time frame, a little bit wider stop is going to help. But there's absolutely a short play right here, right now, right? Failing to take it higher. Price is failing to drift higher. Cracking to the downside. Not continuing just yet, but we turn and burn to the downside. I think there's definitely a short play for a move down around the open. I could see this as a really, a more aggressive short. But again, I'm going to be late to this party. I'm going to make it so I likely will only get 2 trades today. If I get 2, I'd be wrong on the direction twice, and we would have seen a lot of chop in that indication. More likely that I get 1 because I run a wide stop loss, and by the time I'm wrong, it's I've already survived some movement. Okay, so someone hopped on and said NQ within 2%. Here's how it works. The limit down is 5. Excuse me. The CME price limit for NQ is 7%. 7%, right? So within 5%, 5% down on the day is the risk factor, right? So if you use a measurement tool, or you look at the quotes, somewhere within TopstepX, or you look at the percent change on TradingView, as we approach 5%, that would be 2% of the 7% CME price limit. At least that's how I understand it. Maybe I'm dead wrong, and I look back on this stream and I go, "Wow, Zach, you had that completely wrong." But that's how I understand it. They were talking about it on TopStep this morning, and I believe I'm in line with that and the most recent rule that I posted a handful of times in my community. That's the way that I'm explaining it. That's the most updated rule that I can read for XFAs. You don't want to be trading once price has moved 5% up or down. So nice. Guys getting short. Yeah, do your thing, guys. Do your thing. Again, like I said, waiting to see. Do we get aggressive push back down? Price can't handle a lower price and we crack back up. I'm looking long. Conversely, we start to sell off. I am looking short faster, but I'm not short from up here. I'm not short from up here with a stop loss just above this. I'm looking for a really aggressive push down, maybe all the way down towards IB low or headed down that way. Maybe some kind of structure and a continuation to the downside. But so far, this is not giving me enough indication either way. I'm not getting involved off the open. If I was, it's looking pretty dang bullish. Even right now, as we come all the way back up on this, it's aggressive. It's aggressive. We'll see how the stats play out around initial balance. $350, $375. We got some orders in the book. Looking at Bookmap. I could see this for a crack to the upside. Stop loss right down around here, but you'd be buying on the first, bullish move after some harsh selling. So, again, I'm not going to be the first one into this. I'm going to be late to the party, as they say. But this isn't set yet, right? We're at 10:24, so this initial balance line that I have, that's not going to be set until 10:30. 10:30 a.m. for initial balance. Yeah, but I like the 15-minute chart on a day like today. I really do. Zoomed out a little bit. Nice. Up on the day, very nice. Yeah, this looks like we want to crack to the upside. We've got orders that are getting ready to get tagged 330, 350, 375, even up above that. This is looking like a push to the upside. Long play from up at this level for a breakout with a stop loss down below here. Here's some selling. Is not a bad setup. It's not a bad setup. This would be, somewhat of a breakout play to the upside, saying we pushed, held above VWAP, pulled back down, buyer stepping right back in, and we got room to move if we decide to break out. If we come down around this level to sweep this low again, we're out for that first loss. So this isn't a bad setup. This is not a bad setup, because this may be all the pullback that we get, right? That may be it for right now. It's not a terrible way to structure risk. Again, long on a day like this is definitely counter to the overnight session, but so far in pre-market off the open, it has been bullish, so I can see this as a move to the upside. I'm going to get ready to set this IB high whenever this 1030 comes in, but it ain't there yet. And I could see this for a move up through 400s. That's what this looks like to me, which would not present a terrible risk to reward. Something that you could hold on to for a much larger push higher. There we go, cracking through 335. Tempted on this one, but yeah, we got quite a bit above. Eyeballing along on this one, but it's not exactly what I wanted. It's not exactly the risk structure that I wanted. I wanted a farther pullback, more aggressive, to get long counter to this big trend. But we're going up, filling orders. Let's see. See what happens. Watch this on the book as well. Aggressive push to the upside, coming to tag 375. Yeah, it didn't look that bad. About to get our IB high set on this candle, but it looks like we're going to keep moving. This looks like we want to push to the upside. I'm looking long on this. A breakout above these candles from 325 would have been a nice play. Stop loss down below this level. Going to wait to see if we just knife from here, if we get a pullback and then some continuation. But I'm not going to run into this one and chase it now. Take a gander at ES, see what ES is doing. Yep, similar structure. Dow headed back up as well. Let's see what we get from here. This didn't look that bad from down here on a breakout to the upside. That was an aggressive push back up. Stop loss down below this level. Targeting to move to the upside. But let's go ahead and set our IB high. Drop down to the 1 minute for it. Whoa, that's not what I want to do. Yeah, I'm looking long on this for the moment, guys. That's the quiet. This looks like it was the good opportunity though, from right down here at this level. Now, if we get a pullback, I'll pull back in some hesitation, which I don't know that we get. I think we might blast off from here. This could look okay for a long. We've got some liquidity at 345 right below this candle. But this looks like we want to push from here. This was a decent opportunity to look long. Continuation and a crack back up. And I was eyeballing it, just wasn't really exactly what I wanted. But that was indication buyers are not going to allow this thing to come lower, at least for right here, right now. And we want to drift higher. And this could be a way in to hold on to a trade for a continuation above VWAP and just a push higher. Now, conversely, if we find some resistance here, and sellers step back in, come below this low, I'm looking short. So we are coming up on something, but that first one is going to be close to being journaled as a missed trade for me. This push back up. Yeah, lots of orders at 395, 400. I don't know if we're gonna get through this with some force. I'd be surprised if we didn't see some volume traded right here, but I don't know if we're gonna hold this. Interesting. And then what it means for the day, right? Like, are we really just gonna blast off and erase this move? We're making the case that we want to. Really making the case that we want to. There's 400s getting traded out. Now, traded out a bunch at 400, right around that level, 395, 400. Harsh rejection. Gonna have to wait and see. Stay patient for the first hour into the session. Watching the market. And we're getting an indication here, man. We're getting an indication. First trade would have been down here from the 25s. Let's see what happens now that we pushed this. I don't want to chase it. I don't want to jump my way in here. But we broke IB high, right? Following that first stat. If we break IB high, it's not common that we come all the way back down to break IB low within the trading session. It's also likely that we extend, and we already did extend it by a few points here. Yep, hanging tight on this one. I'm looking at this as a long setup. We have really failed, excuse me, at any point during this NYSE session to indicate that we are going to continue lower. Now, we're at an interesting spot on the chart, and we can certainly find some resistance up here. Sellers can step back in at any time and just start to drive price completely lower. And this would have been a higher time frame aggressive sell, right, for a big break and retest and then continuation. But for me right here, right now, pop at the open, very aggressive, but way too quick to get involved long. Pullback and then continuation. Like I was saying, around the 325s as we were headed towards breaking this would have been a nice entry. Stop loss just below this level for continuation to the upside. If the thesis was we are going to continue this move to the upside, continue long. Again, I'm debating whether or not I'm going to journal that as a potential missed opportunity, regardless of how it plays out. I didn't take it, but that would have been potential setup number one. Like I talked about, was waiting for a pullback and then continuation. Was this as aggressive as I wanted to see? No, I would have liked something even further down and then buyers to step right back in. But this is paying to the upside, right? We're already looking okay. Now, quickly forgetting about any missed opportunity or missed trades, where do we go from here? This is looking bullish. This looks like it wants to continue the upside. I'm waiting for some type of pullback, some way to get in. At least for me, that might present another way to structure risk to the upside. That's what I could see so far. Conversely, we sell off and knife through this. We see one of these staircase up, elevator down. I'm looking short, but we're past that 10:30 time frame. We got past some of that volatility at the open, and I'm okay trying to find my way in. Yeah, let's take a look. I'll look on the side in TradingView. Yeah, it can. Again, I'm trying to be as a little bit more zoomed out on this, just a little bit more zoomed out, and take it into consideration. Despite what's happening right here, right now, right on this tighter time frame, what is my thesis for the day? Right? When I structure this with wide risk, am I anticipating that we really continue to the upside today, or that we really are going to continue to the downside based on the price action and market structure that I see? For right here, right now, because I'm going to hold, right? Whether we find some initial resistance at 420s or whatever it is, the thesis is going to be that we're going to move, right, relative to my wide stop loss. So I think this is a decent spot to structure risk. If I anticipated we were going to continue to the upside today with a stop loss below this low, we could certainly pull a difficult move like this. But that would have taken me out of the first one anyway. If the thesis is we're going to find resistance from up here, there's no way I'm just selling into all of this buying pressure to say I think it's going to turn here and my stop loss is going to be safe up here. I'd have to wait for it to start to come back down, and then the move to be a larger to the downside. But right now this looks bullish, and that looks like I'm journaling this as a nice missed opportunity to the upside right here. So at this point, if I wanted to be in down here and we come back to it, I probably still want to be in. So I'm going to wait to see if we get some kind of pullback on this and look for a continuation long. That's my initial idea. Am I going to buy on a knife down? No, I'm not. But as far as resistance that we found, yeah, we found it up here right at the 330s, 340s area, and then pulled back down below VWAP and aggressively popped through, consolidating right here up at the 400s. You know, we got buyers and sellers, right, coming back and forth on this. That's why we got a little consolidation. But this looks long, man. This looks long. And this looks like the opportunity to the upside right here. That would have been a solid entry. But wait and see. Look for the next one. Watch down the 5-minute at this point. Let's look at ES over on the side. Pulling the same. Pulling the same, looking at pushing higher. And Dow as well. Let's see. Let's see if we get a little pullback here if we just blast off and leave me in the dust. But while we're waiting, we'll be right back, guys. Let's see what we got. Back in action here. A little bit of consolidation in the 5-minute. Interesting. Interesting. Again, if you guys are hanging out on here and you're like, hey, Zach hasn't taken a trade yet, I was hoping to watch some live trading. If I don't get anything on here with you guys, make sure you're in the free Discord because I'll call it out. I'll call out whatever I'm looking at towards the end of the stream. I'll let you know exactly what I'm looking at if I'm not ending the stream in a trade like I have the last few. Let you know exactly what I'm looking for, what I'm waiting for, and then do what I can to call it out in the free Discord. But link in the chat actually, but link in the description. If you're not in there, you want to hop in. Boom. Yeah, man, not blasting off. Again, I'm gonna be. I wanted to be patient on this morning, right? Didn't want to jump right into the market, and I'm feeling like this was a decent missed opportunity on my end, which happens, right? You know, market's moving. Really wasn't anticipating a run right back up as we were starting to sell off. Was actually watching this to potentially continue, but then at this point, you know, again, as we're approaching the highs, right? This candle closes and we keep taking off. This isn't bad. You know, this isn't bad for me. That's as close to a setup as I would have gotten today. You know, I'll watch in hindsight to see how this plays out. But that for a break, you know, continuation of the upside, break and retest, a nice way to structure risk. That was a way in long. Now, would I have taken profits here? No. No. And I probably would be even wider. I'd probably be like down here. And this would be a longer hold to the upside for sure. So, we can watch in hindsight if I'm potentially getting stopped out at break even or if we come back down and what that looks like. But that's as close to setup number one as I could see. I'm actually going to save this on my chart so I can journal it. Now, from here, this is dicey, man. This is long. Everything's screaming long from session open to me, but it is so counter to this move. I do think at any point during this session, maybe more information can come out. Things can change. We can see a lot more volatility, or buyers just give up this initial push off of pre-market and everybody waking up in New York, and we do continue to move back down. That is an absolute risk today, that we continue this massive sell-off. But right here, right now, objectively, right, here's 9:30 a.m. open. We're bullish coming into pre-market, coming into the open, crack to the upside. We hold VWAP, pull back down, continuation higher. This is just forming, nice bullish structure to the upside. So I'm not super convinced either way on this. Really, right at the moment is how I'm ending up. That was the best look to the upside right there. I would have liked to, if I was in this trade, I'd be getting real nervous right now. I really would have liked to see that momentum continue and not this aggressive, pullback, or somewhat aggressive. Maybe not for today. Yeah, liquidity at 45. We'll have to see. 345. We got some orders in the book. So yeah, this is going to be wait and see. Again, patience. That's going to be my name today. Yeah, we got quite a bit down at 345 on Bookmap and quite a bit at 300. Coming right down into some orders on Bookmap. Trading at this nice round number, right? 350. Talked about that a little bit. NQ loves these round psychological numbers. The hundreds, the 50s. Not deal. See what happens when we come down here. Filled to 45. Yeah, we just got stuff coming back and forth. Interesting day, man. Interesting day. Insane sell-off. Insane sell-off. Big bloodbath. And buyer stepping in before the open, continuing through the session, and all the way up in this till this point, trying to bring it higher. Decent break and retest structure. We didn't like the 400s. We really didn't like the 400s. Yeah, I don't know that I just don't know that I like this today, guys. This is opportunity coming up, right? Similar to down here. Breaking and retesting, right? If we're not really paying too much attention to that insane sell-off, we push up, pull back down. We didn't really pull back to a prior high broken in an uptrend, but we cracked above this high. Now we've pulled down right to these highs here, right? Nice clean uptrend structure. And now we're pushing back up. So we are continuing uptrend structure. I just, I don't, maybe it's the discretion, the intuition speaking to me, but this just doesn't look too convincing. Again, I really am going to have to journal this one. I'll watch, how it plays out in hindsight, but on another day, I'm in long. On another day, I'm in long like this, based on what we saw here. And this is, as close to a setup as I got today. So I'm going to watch to see how that plays out. Outside of that, now at this point, again, I'm cautious long today, really cautious long today. But I'm just not 100% sure. I think really I'm going to be on the sidelines waiting as we start to talk about, what we look for into the afternoon. If I don't end up with a trade right here, right now, which I don't think I'm getting, I'm going to look for sellers to step back in and bring this thing down lower, and to look for a potential short. That's really my first setup. If we continue this stair step higher, conversely, we just keep doing what we're doing. We don't come back down around, open the open of this NYSE session. I'm going to try to find a way in long. I'm going to challenge myself to find a way in long, which is going to be harder for me. We see a sell-off more aggressive than what I was really waiting for on this move to the downside, and then a crack back up higher. I'm long, but I'm going to be quicker to be short on the way back down. And really, what I'd be looking for would be down around this low, this 15-minute candle low, which is 227.5 on the 15-minute chart. We crack down below that and hold with some aggression. This looks short to me from up here. I'd be looking short as we come down around that and can potentially continue lower. Again, I'm going to be late. I've been late hanging out with you guys, not taking anything just yet, but I'm going to be late to whatever move on more structure. This would be down around entry, below entry on this first potential long that I was looking at. But this feels like buyers are dying out a little bit. But again, we'll have to wait and see. That's my game plan. Share your Bookmap screen. That's what Bookmap's looking like right now. Got some liquidity down at 300. Nice round number there. We had quite a bit above that we came into. And now not too much crazy outside of that 300 level. If I zoom out, still got some above, all over like the 425, but not a ton up there. No massive, oh, look at that. We're going to see. Let's keep zooming out. See if I can't break Bookmap. Down at 21,200, we got 97 down there. 250, we got 32. That's Bookmap for now. That's funny. Yeah, this feels weak. This feels weak to me. This gun to my head, I'm short. Short all the way back down on this thing, but I don't have a gun to my head, and I'm just gonna wait to preserve capital on this, guys. I think that's where I'm going with this. Again, let's talk about it. Hop in the free Discord if you're not already. I'll do my best to call out a trade if I find my way into one. But I'll tell you what I'm looking at right here. This looks short to me. This looks weak. We just have failed to continue this momentum to the upside, but so far, following this movement for NYSE session, I don't have an entry yet. I'm going to wait for structure. I'm going to wait for structure to break to the downside to start looking short, which would be coming up for me really aggressively, around the 220s, mid 220s, to potentially start to look short for this uncommon double break of IB high and low, and a continuation lower following this move from the overnight session. If we just continue this stair-step movement to the upside, I'm going to try to find my way in long. I think we're going to erase this movement. If we keep doing what we're doing and buyers stay in, and we're just going to find our way higher, closing this gap. And this is going to be a knee-jerk, gnarly reaction, and then a continuation higher. Conversely, we chop around. I probably get chopped up, right? I take a loss, maybe two. I don't know that that's as common, that we just chop around this level. I think sellers are likely to step back in at a certain point and bring this thing back down. Or what we're seeing so far through pre-market and NYSE session, that buyers don't want to give this up. Don't want to give it up yet. So, yeah, back around these highs, again, following this structure, I'm going to try to find a way in long. Down past, let's say, 25, 21,225 in MNQ. I'm going to start looking short, try to find some structure to trade off of. That'd be back down below VWAP and really failing this move higher. But so far for NYSE session, everything's calling long, right? IB high put in last, broken first, extended a bit. It's not common that we come all the way back down and break down. Nice stat behind that, holding VWAP, nice clean breaks and retests. Unless we start to give this up and come back down, it'd be tough to find a short. So again, not really missed opportunity. I'm going to journal that first one. It would be 10 points below my entry. So I don't really care about that, like what happens in hindsight. It can be helpful to look at, but if there's a real clear opportunity, I got to journal a mistrade, whether it's a winner or a loser. If in fact it's a mistrade, that one's close. So on that note, guys, can you explain option theory? Yeah, I can't, man, because I'm not going to do a good job explaining it. I'm going to have to talk to like the guys on Top Step TV for that one, Hogue, and maybe even Brian in the chat, who's paying much more attention to TPO charts. But I don't work with it, man. I keep it stupidly simple on price action and market structure. And I do what I can to say I don't use that. So, I'm not going to be good at explaining details on it. Jose looking for another scalp. 5 micros. Do your thing, man. Short. Nice. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you hopping on here. No trade session. You know what I'm looking for coming into the rest of this session. I still think we have room to go. I still think there's opportunity. Let's see what we get. Hop in the free Discord. I'll do what I can to keep you updated. Got a couple of meetings coming into the afternoon, but if I'm taking something, I'll do my best to call it out, let you know what I'm looking at. But right now, looking short below 25 on some structure, long back up towards highs of this session, back towards that 420 level. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you for being here. Hit like, hit subscribe. I'll see you the rest of the week, every day, 100% free here on YouTube at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Talk to you guys soon.